Ladies and gentlemen, let me begin with a simple question. What if the secret to transforming your entire life lies in the first few minutes of your morning? Every sunrise brings us a brand new page, an untouched opportunity. But most of us wake up only to repeat yesterday. Today, I want to remind you that your morning is not just a routine, it is a ritual, a sacred investment into quality of your day. So here are 5 things to do every morning that can bring clarity, purpose, and positivity into your life. Gratitude is one of the most powerful forces that can transform the way we see the world and the way the world responds to us. When you begin your morning with gratitude, you are not just performing a positive act, you are reprogramming your mind to focus on abundance rather than scarcity. Most people wake up and immediately think of what they don't have, what's missing, or what's going wrong in their lives. But gratitude shifts that lens. It teaches you to acknowledge the blessings that are already present, the progress you've made, the relationships you cherish, and even the challenges that have shaped you. Starting your day with gratitude creates a mindset that is calmer, clearer, and far more optimistic, allowing you to approach your day with strength rather than stress. When you wake up in the morning, your mind is a blank canvas. The first thoughts that enter it decide the tone of your entire day. If those thoughts are of worry, pressure, or negativity, you carry that heaviness with you everywhere. But if your first thoughts are of appreciation, your heart naturally softens, your mind opens, and your energy aligns with positivity. Gratitude doesn't eliminate problems, but it gives you the mental clarity and emotional resilience to deal with them more effectively. It reminds you that even in difficult times, there is always something to hold on to, something meaningful, something precious. Practicing gratitude every morning can be as simple as sitting quietly and thinking of 3 things you're thankful for. It might be the roof over your head, the air you breathe, the people who care for you, or simply the gift of waking up to another day of opportunities. Some people prefer writing it down, others just close their eyes and reflect. What matters is the sincerity behind the practice. When gratitude becomes a habit, your perspective begins to shift. You stop comparing your life with others. You stop chasing validation. You start noticing the little joys, the morning sunlight, the sound of birds, a warm cup of tea, or a meaningful conversation. Gratitude brings you back to the present moment and reminds you that life is happening here and now. Another profound benefit of practicing gratitude in the morning is the way it affects your relationships. When you begin your day appreciating the kindness, love, and support around you, you automatically become more patient, more understanding, and more compassionate. You communicate better. You judge less. You listen more. Gratitude softens your tone and strengthens your connections because it nurtures a heart that values, respects, and acknowledges others. People naturally feel drawn to someone who radiates appreciation rather than complaint. Beyond emotional well-being, gratitude also impacts your physical and mental health. Multiple studies show that people who practice gratitude consistently experience lower stress, improved sleep, better focus, and a stronger sense of purpose. When you begin your day with a grateful heart, your stress hormones decrease, your mood becomes lighter, and your overall sense of stability improves. You walk into your day with confidence instead of chaos. You feel grounded, aware, and mentally prepared for whatever comes your way. Gratitude in the morning is not just an act, it is a discipline. Some days feel easy, some days feel heavy, but gratitude gives you the balance to handle both. It trains your mind to see possibilities where others see problems. It turns ordinary days into meaningful ones and challenges into lessons. When gratitude becomes the first step of your morning, your entire life begins to rise with purpose, clarity, and emotional strength, feeding your mind with positivity. Every morning is one of the most strategic and empowering habits you can build. Your mind is your most powerful asset, and the content you allow into it, especially at the start of the day, shapes your thinking, influences your decisions, and ultimately directs your life. When you wake up, your mind is in its most receptive state. It absorbs quickly, interprets deeply, and forms emotional tones that can last throughout the day. If the first things you consume are stress, negativity, or distractions, you unintentionally program your mind to operate from a place of pressure and imbalance. But when you deliberately feed your mind with positive, uplifting, and educational content, you set the tone for a day filled with clarity, strength, and purpose. Positivity doesn't mean ignoring your challenges. It means empowering yourself mentally before facing them. It means choosing to start your day from a place of growth rather than from a place of chaos. When you read something thought-provoking, listen to something motivating, or reflect on something meaningful, you are giving yourself the mental fuel necessary to make wise, steady, and strong decisions. Just like you wouldn't skip breakfast and expect your body to function at its best, you cannot expect your mind to navigate life effectively when it is running on emptiness or negativity. Positivity is the nourishment that strengthens your inner world so that you can confidently manage the outer one. Every morning, take a few moments to engage with something that uplifts you. A powerful quote, a page from a book, a short podcast, or even a personal affirmation. These small acts build mental momentum. They help you start your day with intention instead of impulse. When you choose what your mind consumes, you take control of your direction. The world is full of noise, alerts, messages, news, and opinions. If you allow these things to be the first input of your day, you subconsciously give the world permission to dictate your emotional state. But when you begin with something positive and enriching, you decide the emotional and mental baseline from which you operate. Feeding your mind with positivity is also an investment in long-term growth. Every inspiring idea, every new insight, and every lesson you take in becomes a seed planted in your consciousness. Over time, these seeds transform into confidence, resilience, creativity, and wisdom. You begin to think more clearly, respond more patiently, and approach challenges with maturity. Positivity is not superficial motivation, it is mental conditioning. Just like athletes train their bodies each morning, successful people train their minds. They sharpen their thinking, strengthen their focus, and cultivate a mindset that can withstand pressure without collapsing. Another powerful aspect of feeding your mind with positivity is the influence it has on your emotional balance. When you absorb something inspirational early in the day, you create emotional stability before external situations even have a chance to influence you. A positive mind is calmer, more observant, and less reactive. It doesn't get shaken easily. It thinks before it speaks, evaluates before it reacts, and understands before it judges. This kind of emotional intelligence develops naturally when the mind is regularly nourished with meaningful input. Most importantly, starting your morning with positive content reminds you of your direction. It anchors your values, strengthens your purpose, and aligns your actions with the person you want to become. It protects you from drifting through the day without awareness. Instead of reacting to life, you begin leading it. You show up with confidence because your mind is prepared. You show up with calmness because your emotions are centered. You show up with purpose because your thoughts are aligned. Feeding your mind with positivity. Each morning is not just a habit, it is a commitment to creating the best version of yourself. It shapes the quality of your thoughts, the depth of your decisions, and the strength with which you face your day. Setting clear intentions every morning is one of the most powerful ways to bring direction, discipline, and meaning into your daily life. Most people wake up and immediately fall into a reactive mode, checking messages, rushing through tasks, and responding to the demands of the world without ever asking themselves what they want out of the day. But when you begin your morning by setting clear intentions, you shift from reaction to leadership. You become the driver of your day instead of a passenger. An intention is not just a goal. It is a conscious decision about how you want to think, feel, act, and show up in your life. It defines your inner direction before the world tries to pull you in 10 different directions. Intentions create alignment between your values and your actions. When you take a moment each morning to ask yourself who you want to be today, more patient, more focused, more disciplined, more compassionate, you are actively shaping your identity. These intentional thoughts influence the choices you make throughout the day. Instead of being distracted, you become centered. Instead of reacting emotionally, you respond mindfully. Instead of allowing circumstances to dictate your behavior, you behave in a way that reflects your highest standards. This inner clarity helps you avoid confusion, overwhelm, and impulsiveness. A mind without direction is easily shaken, but a mind with intention is anchored. Setting intentions also strengthens discipline and consistency. When you know exactly what you want to accomplish or how you want to conduct yourself, you naturally become more organized and responsible. You filter out distractions more easily. You become selective about what deserves your time and what doesn't. Many people struggle with procrastination because they lack clarity. They don't know what they're aiming for, so everything feels equally urgent or equally unimportant. Intentions solve this problem. They create a mental map that guides your priorities and shapes your decisions. Suddenly, your day has structure. Your energy has purpose. Your efforts have direction. A morning intention also affects your emotional state. Life is unpredictable. Unexpected problems, stressful situations, and challenging interactions can arise at any moment. Without intention, these moments can easily throw you off balance. But when you start your day by choosing the emotional quality you want to carry, peace, resilience, kindness, confidence, you build an internal shield. You don't lose yourself every time something goes wrong. You navigate situations with a mature and steady mindset. You communicate better, handle stress more effectively, and stay grounded even when things become chaotic. Intention becomes the anchor that holds you steady during emotional storms. Another important aspect of setting intentions is the power of self-awareness it creates. Every intention forces you to reflect on your behavior, your habits, and your personal growth. You begin noticing patterns, what distracts you, what drains your energy, what inspires you, and what aligns with your true goals. This daily self-reflection sharpens your understanding of yourself. You stop moving blindly through your day and start living with clarity and consciousness. When you are aware of your inner world, the outer world becomes easier to navigate. Setting intentions is also a subtle but powerful form of self-respect. It shows that you value your time, your energy, and your potential. You are not willing to waste your day drifting or reacting. You are choosing to shape your own life with purpose and intention. This mindset builds confidence and strengthens your sense of identity. Over time, you begin to trust yourself more because you see that your actions and intentions are aligned. You become someone who follows through, someone who acts with purpose, someone who knows where they're going. When intention becomes a part of your morning ritual, your life naturally moves toward clarity, balance, and achievement. You no longer wake up and wander. You wake up and lead. Every decision, every conversation, and every challenge becomes an opportunity to reflect the person you intentionally chose to be. Moving your body every morning is one of the most effective ways to ignite your energy, refresh your mind, and prepare yourself for a productive day. Your body is the vehicle through which you experience life, and how you treat it directly affects how you think, feel, and perform. When you wake up, your muscles are stiff, your circulation is slow, and your mind is still transitioning from rest to activity. A few minutes of movement, whether it's stretching, walking, light exercise, or simple breathing routines, creates an immediate shift. It activates your muscles, boosts your blood flow, and sends signals to your brain that it is time to wake up, focus, and move forward with strength. This small habit, done consistently, can significantly elevate your physical vitality and mental clarity. Physical movement in the morning is not about intense workouts or athletic performance. It is about awakening your system gently yet effectively. Your body needs motion the way your mind needs thoughts. When you begin your day with movement, you stimulate your nervous system in a way that enhances your focus, sharpens your decision making, and increases your motivation. It creates momentum that carries into the rest of your day. People who move their bodies in the morning naturally feel more alert, more confident, and more prepared to tackle challenges because their physical state is supporting their mental and emotional goals. Movement also plays a crucial role in emotional balance. Stress, anxiety, and negativity often accumulate in the body as tension. Morning movement helps release that tension before it affects your mood. Even a few minutes of stretching can relax tight muscles, calm your breathing, and stabilize your emotions. When you care for your body in the morning, you create a foundation of calmness and control. You become less reactive and more resilient. Physical movement doesn't just change your posture, it changes your perspective. It lifts your spirits, lightens your mood, and enhances your sense of well-being. Another key benefit of morning movement is the way it improves discipline. When you consistently dedicate time to caring for your body first thing in the day, you are building a habit of self-respect and responsibility. You are sending yourself a clear message: my health matters, my energy matters, my life matters. This mindset influences how you approach every other task in your day. You start doing things not because you feel like it, but because you know it benefits your growth. This is the essence of true discipline, choosing what is good for you even when it is not comfortable. Over time, this discipline spills into your work, your relationships, and your personal goals. Morning movement also sharpens your mental performance. When your body is active, your brain receives more oxygen, your concentration improves, and your ability to solve problems increases. You become more alert, more aware, and more capable of handling complex tasks. Many people struggle with morning fatigue or lack of motivation simply because they start their day without activating their physical energy. A still body often leads to a sluggish mind. But a moving body awakens creativity, productivity, and focus. The clarity you gain from even 5 minutes of movement can save you hours of mental struggle later in the day. Another important aspect is confidence. Physical movement increases your sense of control over your life. When you start your day by doing something challenging, even if it is small, you build inner strength. You prove to yourself that you can take action, you can show up, and you can prioritize your well-being. This sense of accomplishment, even before the day officially begins, creates a powerful positive momentum. You feel more capable, more prepared, and more determined to take on whatever the day brings. Morning movement is not a luxury. It is a necessity. It is an investment in your health, your energy, your mindset, and your long-term success. Treating your body well in the morning sets a tone for a day where you feel active instead of passive, empowered instead of overwhelmed, and centered instead of scattered. When your body moves, your life moves forward. Protecting your peace every morning is one of the most valuable practices you can cultivate because it shapes the emotional tone of your entire day. In a world full of constant noise, endless notifications, and competing demands, your inner calm becomes your greatest strength. Most people wake up and immediately expose themselves to stress, checking their phones, reading messages, or diving into responsibilities before their mind has even settled. But when you begin your morning by protecting your peace, you create a space that allows your thoughts to align, your emotions to stabilize, and your mind to operate from clarity rather than chaos. This quiet moment becomes the foundation that supports every action, decision, and interaction you will face throughout the day. Protecting your peace does not require anything complicated. It may be a few minutes of silence, mindful breathing, meditation, prayer, or simply sitting alone with your thoughts. What matters is that you give yourself permission to pause before the world pulls you in. This moment of stillness trains your mind to respond instead of react. It teaches you that you don't have to jump into every noise or rush into every demand. Peace is not the absence of problems, it is the presence of control, awareness, and emotional balance. When you start your day with calmness, you carry that calmness into every situation, no matter how unpredictable the day becomes. The benefits of protecting your peace extend far beyond those first few minutes. When your morning begins with inner stability, your emotional resilience strengthens. You become less affected by negativity, less shaken by challenges, and less overwhelmed by stress. Noise will always exist, but when your inner world is quiet, external noise loses its power. You begin to think more clearly and evaluate situations with a balanced mind. Your conversations become healthier because you respond from understanding instead of irritation. Your work becomes more focused because your thoughts are not scattered. Protecting your peace gives you the strength to handle pressure without being consumed by it. This morning practice also deepens your sense of self-awareness. When you take time to sit with your thoughts before the day begins, you understand yourself better. You begin to notice what worries you, what motivates you, what drains your energy, and what brings you joy. This awareness allows you to make more intentional choices throughout the day. You stop allowing people, circumstances, or distractions to decide your emotional state. Instead, you become the one who decides how you want to feel and what you want to carry with you emotionally. That is true emotional intelligence, knowing how to manage your inner world with maturity and clarity. Protecting your peace is also an act of self-respect. It shows that you value your well-being and are willing to prioritize yourself before responding to the expectations of others. When you give yourself those quiet moments in the morning, you are acknowledging that your mind and heart deserve care. You are choosing to honor yourself. This shift creates a healthier relationship with your day because you start from a place of fullness rather than emptiness. When you feel emotionally centered, you give more generously, work more effectively, and communicate more calmly. Another powerful impact of preserving your peace is the improved quality of your decision-making. A calm mind sees options clearly. A stressed mind sees only problems. When your morning begins with emotional balance, your decisions throughout the day become more thoughtful and rational. You approach challenges with logic instead of panic. You manage conflicts with patience instead of frustration. You handle responsibilities with structure instead of overwhelm. A peaceful mind is a productive mind, and starting your morning with peace helps you remain grounded even when unexpected situations arise. Ultimately, protecting your peace each morning strengthens your emotional foundation. It prepares you to face the day not with fear or rush, but with confidence, clarity, and inner strength. It allows you to stay centered in a world that constantly tries to distract, pressure, or exhaust you. When you guard your peace first thing in the morning, you guard the quality of your entire day. Showing up with purpose every morning is one of the most defining habits that separate those who drift through life from those who lead it. Purpose is the inner compass that gives direction to your actions, meaning to your efforts, and clarity to your choices. Without purpose, even the busiest person can feel lost. But with purpose, even the simplest tasks gain significance. When you begin your day by reminding yourself why you do what you do, why your work matters, why your goals matter, why your growth matters, you ignite a level of motivation and determination that cannot be shaken by external circumstances. Purpose is not something you stumble upon. It is something you consciously choose to live with every single day. Many people wake up and fall into a routine without ever connecting their actions to a deeper meaning. They work, but they don't feel fulfilled. They move, but they don't feel driven. They try, but they don't feel aligned. This happens because their actions are disconnected from intention. Showing up with purpose bridges that gap. It creates a direct link between who you are, what you do, and what you aspire to become. When you start your morning by grounding yourself in purpose, you give your day direction before distractions can take over. You enter the day with a sense of mission rather than confusion. You act from conviction rather than impulse. Showing up with purpose also builds emotional resilience. When you know why you are doing something, challenges lose their power to discourage you. Obstacles become part of the journey rather than reasons to stop. Purpose turns setbacks into lessons and failures into stepping stones. It reminds you that temporary difficulties do not define your long-term path. Every morning, when you re-anchor yourself in purpose, you strengthen your ability to keep moving forward, even when circumstances feel heavy. You develop a mindset that is steady, persistent, and solution-oriented. Another important aspect of living with purpose is the development of personal accountability. When you show up with purpose, you naturally hold yourself to a higher standard. You become more disciplined, more consistent, and more responsible because you understand the importance of your actions. You stop waiting for motivation and start relying on commitment. You stop depending on external validation and start seeking internal alignment. This shift creates a powerful sense of self-leadership. You begin to trust yourself more because you see yourself following through on what matters. Every purposeful step you take becomes evidence of your capability and promise. Purpose also enhances the quality of your focus. When you know what truly matters, you stop wasting time and energy on distractions. You become more selective with your commitments. You filter out unnecessary noise, unnecessary people, and unnecessary tasks. Your attention becomes sharper, your priorities become clearer, and your productivity becomes more meaningful. You work not just to finish something, but to contribute to something. This sense of direction increases your efficiency and boosts your confidence because you know your efforts are part of a bigger vision. Showing up with purpose every morning also influences the way you interact with others. People feel the difference between someone who is simply present and someone who is purposefully engaged. A person with purpose communicates with intention, listens with presence, and contributes with heart. They inspire confidence, trust, and respect because their actions reflect clarity and commitment. Your relationships improve because you bring authenticity into them. Your leadership becomes stronger because you operate from values rather than impulses. Your presence becomes meaningful because it is guided by purpose. Most importantly, showing up with purpose each morning shapes your identity. Every day is an opportunity to become the person you aspire to be. Purpose helps you align your actions with that vision. It reminds you that greatness is not built in a single moment, but through consistent, purposeful effort. When you live each morning with purpose, you shape not only your day, but your future. You create a life that feels directed, meaningful, and deeply fulfilling. When purpose leads your morning, excellence follows your entire day. So tomorrow, when your eyes open, don't just wake up, rise up. Rise with gratitude, with intention, with energy, with wisdom, and with inner peace. Thank you, and may every morning be a blessing that guides you to becoming the best version of yourself.